Good evening, saints of God. Thank you once again. I am so happy that you came back. I'm so delighted that you were interested enough in the word to want to hear for the next few minutes something that God spoke to me. Last week, the question was posed to you, why is it so hard for God's people to obey him? And we talked about that. This week, we're going to look at something else, and we're going to look at the fact that there is a spirit that can mimic the Spirit of God. In John says it's the Antichrist. He said it is the spirit of error. But in 2 Timothy, he calls it a form of godliness, but it denies the power thereof. And it's the verse in 2 Timothy, 3rd chapter, that I want to deal with today, where he calls it a form of godliness, indicating that godliness has a power. So today we're going to look at a form of godliness versus being godly. There is a Greek word that I want to teach you called metaschematismo. Metaschematismo. I may not be saying it totally correct, but it is a word that deals with transformation. We've taught metamorpho, and metamorpho is our Greek word for metamorphosis. And we use the example of how the caterpillar transforms into the butterfly. We've used that many times. But when we talk about metaschematismo, we're still talking about transformation, but it's a difference. This type of transformation is like what chameleons do. A chameleon is a wonder because they have this uncanny ability to blend. If you are not careful, you won't even see a chameleon. As a matter of fact, unless they make a chameleon-like move, you probably won't see them. If they're on a leaf, they blend in with the leaves. If they're on the ground, they blend in with the rocks. If they're on a block of wood, their colors turn. Whatever environment they're in, they've learned how to blend to the point that they can take on that form. The problem with that is, regardless of what form they take on, they're still a chameleon. They are not changing from being a chameleon to a leaf, or from being a chameleon to the rocks on the ground, or for being a chameleon to the slab of wood that they're resting on. They are still a chameleon. They're just mimicking the form of what they are resting on. What is God saying? In the verse in Timothy, it talks about having a form of godliness but no power. It says it denies the power thereof. That's the difference. Godliness carries a power that a form of godliness does not. You deny yourself the rights and the ability to have the power of God in your life when you want to just mimic or metaschematismo the form of godliness. You can be godly, but godliness does have its challenges. That's why so many would rather mimic. And you're able to mimic. But when you need power, where is the power going to come from? The chameleon, when the storms come and when the winds are raging and when the tides are rolling, they have to do what chameleons do to survive. They can't rely on the power of the leaf to carry them on the storm. They can't rely on the security of the rock to carry them. They can't rely on that. And pretending to be a rock does not make you a rock. Pretending to be a leaf does not make you a leaf. And so the properties of being a rock and being a leaf is lost. What am I saying to you, saints of God? Having a form of godliness is not being godly. And when the challenges come to the godly, we have a way of escape. We have a way to handle the challenge. But if you're not godly, you're just pretending to be godly, you're just blending in with the godly, you will have to make those chameleon-like moves in order to survive. And that's when it will be evident. Why not just be godly? I know it's a challenge. I know God requires things of us that if you just have the form of godliness. If you go back in that chapter, it starts out talking about people who love themselves more than they love God, who are boasters, who take silly women captive. It names a truce breakers, people who would rather keep stuff going than rather see peace. But he also talks about how this stuff denies the power of God. Godly people, they try to bring peace in every situation, even if they have to say they're sorry in situations where they've done nothing wrong. That's what godliness will make you do. A form of godliness won't let you go there. Godliness will make you stand, and having done all, you still stand. But a form of godliness will make you throw that towel in right quick, especially if the challenges get too much. Godliness will help build your relationship with God to the point that you all can have a covenant and communicate. But a form of godliness will not allow it. Form of godliness. The question you need to meditate on this week: am I godly? Or do I just have a form? Am I what I say I am? Or am I just blending? You don't have to be a person that just blends. You don't have to settle for just a form of godliness. You can be godly. You can go through the process of allowing God to make you godly, knowing his righteousness, having the integrity of the godly, and having the power that being godly brings. Yes, it's a challenge. But think of what God can do through you and for you if you're really godly, if you're really righteous. Think about that this week, ladies and gentlemen. Are you godly, or do you just have the form? Are you godly, or are you mimicking godliness? Are you doing what you think godliness looks like? Are you like the chameleon and just blending? I'm here to tell you that your situation, there are going to be trials and tribulations. There are going to be storms. And if you are a chameleon, it's going to be difficult to survive the storms, if you survive it all. Having the power of godliness is more important than mimicking godliness. God bless you, my people, and I'll see you next week.